recent events in space have been observed to have strange occurrences. Finding things in space has become a lot less difficult since the launch of the James Webb Space Telescope and the many other technological advancements that have occurred in recent years. We have witnessed more than our fair share of magnificent scientific discoveries, ranging from rare green comets to potentially catastrophic asteroids. Fortunately for us, the thrilling action is far from over. Since this morning, there have been a number of reports about something that has left scientists unable to find words to adequately describe it. Something that they are not entirely capable of explaining. They have never seen anything like it before, and they have no idea how it can exist in the world. There has been a strange sighting. The discovery was made for the very first time in 2002, and while it was interesting at the time, there was nothing about it that they couldn't explain. There are a surprising number of rings in the solar system. There is evidence that more than half of the planets in the universe have had them in the past. A number of asteroids, in addition to the dwarf planet Haumea, possess rings. Even the Sun has its own unique set of rings. Now, astronomers have discovered a completely new ring system on the planet. Because there is nothing else like it anywhere else in the solar system, this one, in particular, has caused them to scratch their heads. A dense ring also encircles the small dwarf planet Quaoar, which resides in the Kuiper belt beyond Pluto. This ring orbits at such a great distance that it ought to be stuck together as a moon even though it is orbiting at such a great distance. As a result of this discovery, scientists might need to revise their understanding of how moons and rings are formed and how they are affected by the gravitational interaction with their larger companions. Quaoar, which was found in 2002 and has a diameter of only 1,110 kilometers, has proven to be an extremely fascinating little rock over the years since its discovery. It exhibits characteristics of ice volcanism, and it even has a peculiar little moon called Waywatt, which has a diameter of only 170 kilometers. However, in the year 2021, astronomers discovered something new. They were participating in what is known as an occultation, which is a type of observation in which they were watching as Quaoar, a dark shadow in the far reaches of the solar system, moved into position to obscure a star way off in the distance. The observations made by a ground-based telescope in Australia gave rise to the possibility that the dwarf planet may be encircled by a ring. A group of astronomers embarked on a search to see if they could locate any additional evidence. But you can't just point a telescope at a teeny-tiny dwarf planet in the pitch-black depths of the Kuiper belt and hope to make out any detail, let alone see the rings themselves. It's just not possible. Instead, the researchers were forced to rely on the data that was collected by a variety of ground-based telescopes between 2019 and 2020 in their search for additional occultations. In order to demonstrate that the ground-based indications of a ring were not the result of atmospheric distortion, it was necessary to use Cheops, which is based in space. In the end, the amalgamation of the data provided more than just a hint. When astronomers put everything together, they saw drops in brightness that were not caused by Quaoar, but that pointed to the presence of material in a circular orbit around it. These drops in brightness indicated that the material was orbiting around Quaoar. As soon as they noticed that, they had a sudden realization that they were looking at a ring surrounding Quaoar. The researchers were able to characterize the ring thanks to the data, and this is when things started to get really strange. The ring is currently traveling around the dwarf planet at a distance of approximately 4,100 kilometers from the center of Quaoar. This equates to approximately 7.4 Quaoar radii. For the record, Weywatt is located at considerable distance away, at a distance of 24 ADI. However, the Roche limit of Quaoar is only 1,780 kilometers away from the geographic center of Quaoar. The Roche limit is a critical distance from a body at which tidal forces will pull it apart into a messy pile of debris as the gravity of the larger body exceeds the gravity required to hold the smaller body together. This happens because the gravity of the larger body is greater than the gravity required to hold the smaller body together. After an object of a certain size has passed the Roche limit, it is reasonable to expect that it will be reduced to rubble, which will then be quickly woven into a ring. If you travel beyond the Roche limit, you should be able to find complete moons. Although it is possible for debris to exist beyond the Roche limit, it should still clump together within a relatively short period of time, just a few decades, and fuse into something resembling a moon. Outside of the Roche limit, no other body in the solar system is known to have rings. The fact that the ring of material discovered around Quaoar extends much further than the Roche limit is one of the things that makes this discovery so intriguing. As a result of the team's observations, the conventional idea according to which dense rings can exist only within the Roche limit of a planetary body needs to be completely rethought. In spite of the fact that additional investigation is required, there are a few different hypotheses that could explain why the ring has not yet transformed into a moon. One reason for this behavior is that the rubble that makes up the ring is, for some reason, more likely to bounce off of each other than to stick together. There is also the possibility that Weywatt, or even a Quaoar moon that has not been discovered yet, is causing gravitational perturbations that keep the collision speed in the ring high enough to prevent clumping from occurring. The discovery does, however, imply that there may be additional rings of this kind out there, orbiting smaller solar system objects that have not yet been discovered.